Hello, hello, all you loyal nobodies out there. And hello to all you disloyal ones. We know who you are, and we are sending the Israeli Secret Service to your fourth cousin's house. You know the one. The one that writes all those emails. The one that swears he only has a sheep farm for the lanolin production. Well, you can thank us for never, ever having to see him again at a family reunion, because we love you. Why am I in such a giving mood, you ask? Even amongst the record-breaking heat wave that we have experienced this past week? Well, it's because the newest, by law of nature I suppose, superfan of the show was brought into the world on Saturday, August 26th, 2023. His name is Finn, and he has got a wicked spin kick, and he will show you who's boss. It was an extremely hard one for my sweet, sweet partner Melissa, but one in which, she showed that, much like the Wu-Tang Clan, she is not to be fucked with. So, in celebration and in putting this occasion out into the ether forever, I would like to say, I love you so much, Melissa and Finn, and we are so unbelievably happy to have you home. This episode is part 3 of, it seems to be a 4-parter, possibly 5. I have no idea how long Chris is deciding or willing to drag this out, but it is a super fun one. So, let's all enjoy.
Just relax, take it easy, you're still young, that's your fault. There's so much you have to know. Find a girl and settle down. If you want, you can marry. Look at me, I am old, but I'm happy. I was once like you
What's
are now.
fucking somebody's favorite rice, or what's that rice you like to eat, or some shit like that? And Peter's like, what? He says, Uncle Ben's, and fucking then the last picture is Seabiscuit crying.
It's all very confusing what just happened.
Hilarious.
Both the retelling and the final product.
You're a butt licker.
I do like to lick butts from time to time. Welcome
I've had enough of your foolishness.
to another. This is a part 3. We haven't done one of these in a while, and he actually threatens more. So let's see what we can do about that to stop him, short of stabbing, because that's. I've got special plans.
He's got to make it all the way out to his car.
Or I could just go to the kitchen and steal some of his knives. Whatever. That's neither here nor there, people. What I'm saying is, it's Chris's time to say his part of the title now.
You still haven't actually.
Oh, I did. I said
your part.
UFOs.
No, you said
Wait, that's your part.
Absolutely nothing.
I am so. Edit this out later, Jason. Future Jason, take care of this for me. I'm. Chris knows better.
I am going to loudly slurp my coffee while you give your part of the intro.
That's not fair. See no, hear no, speak no. It was all planned. That was the whole mess around right there.
Well done.
That was my pause sentence. I'm just getting that eccentric.
Kudos and granola bars to you, sir. Well done. And it's gonna get dicey up in this piece with the UFOs, the conspiracies, and the moitas. Which actually, I think this is really cool because we do have all 3 in this. Story.
Nobody likes to have murders on hand. It's just we bought like a big box of them from Costco one day.
It's gonna
Costco
be a
sells
5-some.
those. Or we did something to get them, I'm sure. Probably was lurid and dark, and it's Chris's episode, and I think that he should begin the continuation of the regalement of the story and tale of
These.
some would say folk tale, some would say old German folk tale. But none of those would be true for this situation. This is just.
Hassenkopf, he tried. He tried with some German influence.
So heavy-handed was what I think that is.
God damn, everything this guy did was heavy-handed.
I meant Germany. We were talking about that, but yeah, we'll say him though too.
And heavy on the bullshit. So we are not gonna give a whole recap on this. You just got to go back and listen to parts 1 and 2. But
I needs blood. That's
he needs blood for some weird reason.
I actually don't think he needs the blood. I think he's being grabby.
He needs the morphine, which we still don't 100% know that's what he's fucking injecting into himself. We have no idea.
I mean,
he says it's morphine for his leukemia.
I mean, sometimes you need morphine. You know, like when you're addicted to it because you just take it because it's morphine.
Right, but we'll get to some more stuff about the drugs here in a little bit. So I believe, if I'm not mistaken, where we left off was that we just met Linda Henning.
She's the hairdresser lady?
No,
then
we're past her.
I don't think we've met Linda Henning then.
I could have sworn that's...
I think I would remember the difficulty I had with pronouncing Linda Henning.
Well, okay. I think that's... No, we have to have left off right there because that would have been the perfect.
I've listened to a few of these episodes. No, seriously, I don't know who Linda Henning is. Or if you did talk about her, this isn't the hairdresser that Girly Chew went to and told everything to.
We already closed that out.
And now we're right after that.
Seriously?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you going to make me go back and listen to the last 2 minutes of this episode?
I mean, I will hit pause even. And now, go ahead.
You filthy hooker. So, yes, you were right. However, I wasn't entirely wrong because my notes...
See, the first time he said it, he said, you were right, I was wrong. Now he's backpedaling, looking for loopholes to jump through so he can save some face. And I don't know that I appreciate that.
Well, my last notes end with Linda Henning, but I did put a star, see right there, that says started talking about aliens. So that's... I actually... showed myself, but I didn't use the same notebook.
Yeah, so cool your tits, Linda.
Anyway, yeah, we'll get to Linda real soon. Oh my goodness.
She knows what's coming for her.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, so more fuckery. So, okay. All right, so backtracking just real fast. We're actually talking about Julie McGuire, who was the owner of the Enchantment Lodge in Aztec, New Mexico.
Later known as Mark.
And when she meets Dyson, yes, he goes through all of his spiels. But now he's talking about extra stuff because from...
Like extraterrestrials?
Exactly. Because you know,
because
Julie's actually smart.
She was.
She asks some questions here and there, and so the stories have to twist, and so after a few visits and this and that, and Dimitri always asking for Girly, you know, then Dyson has to come up with the story of how Dimitri is one of 12 boys genetically engineered in a lab.
He could have said 3. He could have said 3, but he said fucking 12.
He said 12.
Come on, man.
His sperm and 12 other women's eggs, and they're all like psychic power babies or some shit. And the project was nicknamed Project Girly, which is why he's always asking for Girly.
Just an afternoon at the office, cranking out super-powered alien babies.
Yeah, all in 1 month.
I was going to say it probably took him an afternoon, but...
So, that having to be ramped up in some way or another, he goes on to start telling Miss Julie that he, thanks to being a part of the CIA and their black ops programs and yada yada, that he is privy to the information of an alien takeover at some point, which is funny because if you'll listen to this portion, the more and more he tells this story, the more it flippity flops. So you'll see. So he's privy to this information via his ties in the CIA, that there will be an alien takeover that's going to come down and fucking obliterate more than, let's say, 70 or 80% of the population.
Such bold predictions.
Through poisoning the drinking water.
Man, it's such a bitch way to do it.
Right.
Or I guess such a testy way to do it.
Such a dumb human way to do it.
Man, humans is dumb.
But that he has noticed that she has the mark. There's a sign, and she has the mark of one that has been abducted and implanted implanted with a little beacon that tells in the bridge of her nose that tells them that she's one of the ones that's good to be rescued.
What are the odds?
What are the fucking odds,
like,
right?
Every lady that I meet has this mark, and I'm supposed to rescue them and stuff. Captain Rescue mark.
And they are all worth 90% off of this really expensive treatments for cancer they don't have. Look, or some of them do, and it's still...
It's going to be $1,000, or you could just give me some of that sweet, sweet blood. Oh. Let's not even think about it too fast, or, just, you know what? Just give me some blood.
You know what? I got magic blood. We can trade.
I will fucking take the blood.
You give me some of yours, I'll give you some of mine.
Wait till you go to sleep, you son of a bitch.
But I'm going to just hold yours off to the side. You got to drink mine now.
I'm going to pay a hooker to fart on your face. It has nothing to do with gathering the blood. This has gotten personal.
This escalated very quickly.
So give me some blood.
It went from nasty to nasty.
I don't understand why people don't like when I ask them for blood.
So, moving right along. You'll figure it out one day.
I will not.
He says that she will be rescued by the good aliens and brought to a space station that is now floating above Colorado Springs. Oh, also... If you act now, Julie, for the low, low price of 90% off, just $3,200 times 2, because you're gonna need, a few, at least 2.
You're starting to sound a little more like my pimp than some guy that just wants my blood. Let's get to it with the numbers.
Could have this magic medicine that makes you anti-age or age backwards, and
it'll age you any direction you want to age.
Cures all your cancers.
And it will suck your dick till it finishes.
Ooh,
even if you're a lady.
But only if you take this blood.
That's why we put that guarantee on the box.
Also, here's a fun one.
It's all fun.
He tries his hand at subliminal suggestion. She caught him a couple of times, apparently, when she was dozing off in bed next to him. Lean over and whisper, into her ear, shit like... what did he say? Something like, you're feeling very relaxed. You're feeling very relaxed.
If this is your pillow talk, I'm going to murder you with a pillow over your face. This is terrible.
And apparently when she, hears him and is like, what the fuck are you doing? He gives her one of those, oops, I thought you were asleep.
Oops, I thought you was asleep. I'll remove it from your bottom.
I was about to ask you for the launch codes and freaking...
No, that's what a guy who sneaks it in and the girl wakes up and is not happy about it. That's where his voice is at tonally.
You now like butt sex.
I know you said not to do this to you, but I kind of did it anyway, and there's no way to hide this. What are we talking about? Stop letting me talk.
I think if anyone listens to enough of our show, they'll see that is my ongoing failure of a mission.
I think he means cross to bear. What a fucking drama queen, right?
Listen, you don't make fun of my cross-eyed bear. That's a manufacturer's defect. He came that way, and I love him just the same.
It means he's half retarded. That's what they say in the paperwork.
Moving right along.
They said they had the tests done. Your cross-eyed bear, it's got problems. Not bad ones. He'll make it through, but not. He won't be living on his own.
He's still named Brand. He's worth more.
Not after he murders your family in their sleep.
Julie.
Then he's worth a lot more.
Fucking A.
Because I paid him.
Fucking A.
This bear doesn't exist, right?
Julie shows back up, or pops back up, or comes to visit, let's say, back to Albuquerque to visit Dyson in January of 99. And Dyson says the NSA is hunting him. They're trying to kill him now because he's given this 90% off discount and this treatment.
The shock on that dog's eyes was priceless, and I'm leaving it the fuck in.
Her dreams are so vivid. I would love to see what's going on in her sweet little piggy mind when she sleeps, because it is crazy.
I like to assume that she was reacting to your telling of the story, and she was just as shocked as the rest of us were.
She's about to start squeaky barking, and it's going to be the most adorable thing ever.
It's like, what? The NSA's after this guy for some reason?
It's great. So, yeah, 90% off. They say
it's a good
they
deal.
should be clocking 1.8 mil on this shit. And this motherfucker is giving it for 90% off just so he can get a slice of Tang. And
they better be putting out, is what I'm saying, because, well, no, I'm not. They should not be believing this man. He's a scoundrel and a cheat.
Well, apparently, not only are they out to kill him, but they said, fuck this guy altogether. They're going to kill all 12 of his sons, too.
I mean, they probably should, right? If he's such a crazy wild card that they can't control unless they kill him, like, those are just like little copies of him, you know?
Well, he says that
look at their little kimonos. Don't they look so cute?
He claims that the other 11 are too powerful and that he will that they must be destroyed, but that Dimitri is the one he got out of there with because he is basically like the top tits.
Are you accidentally retelling me the plot line to a Dragon Ball Z series? Because it's pretty boss either way.
No, but they should take cue from this dude. Like, Goku spitting all of this rhetoric would be hilarious.
A little rapey, though, I think.
So he says, in his sheer panic and terror of the CIA, I was about to say IRS. That's hilarious.
He should be just as scared with the shit he's pulling.
For real. Like, he's been given many thousands of dollars, and I assume paid zero taxes on it. So he tells Julie he has a plan.
This is one good move.
And that he needs her to get 2 passports for him and Dimitri so they can flee to China.
Okay.
Right?
This sounds rock solid so far.
Right?
Yeah.
So Julie's like, bruh, I own a fucking spa. What are you talking about? Fake passports and shit. I don't know.
Look, everybody knows that every spa that's ever been created ever has a basement in the Alamo that makes fake passports and fucking has stolen Pee-wee's bike.
As if blood drawing and morphine use and...
You shut up and give me your blood, I said.
And, fucking genetically engineered children isn't enough. Fake passports is where Julie draws the line.
You know what's real sad is that all 12 of those fucking kids... addicted to heroin. Not even morphine, just heroin.
I bet they are.
They developed it quick.
So he's like, look, I gotta stash Dimitri here and bounce for a little bit. You need to keep him secret so they can't catch us in the same place.
Hey, take my baby from me. Right. It cries a bunch.
Oh, and by the way, I got this leukemia from the CIA. Oh, the NSA, excuse me. The NSA gave me this leukemia, and now they're out to get me too. And so...
It's all only because I gave them leukemia first, whatever.
So this was January of 99. He shows back up again in May. So, yeah, he goes to New Mexico to visit her in May. And she noted that Dimitri looked drugged. Like, he looked like he was just out of it.
Look, I said all of my kids love heroin. That doesn't... It doesn't move it off of him.
It's part of the process, all right?
They have to fight through it. I keep telling them. But
it keeps their powers at bay.
I do keep buying them heroin, too.
So
it's kind of a oopsie on both parts.
So I don't believe that it's saying he left Dimitri with her for those 5 months. I think, this is just...
Babysitter?
5 months later, he shows up in New Mexico, in Aztec. So then a couple of days later, after he has now gone, I guess that's just a weekend excursion, he goes back home. Then she goes to Albuquerque to meet him, and she says that he tells her that she has to park at this bank like a mile or so away because the NSA and everything, they're watching him and shit, so he's got to come and get her, and she can't stay at his place and this and that. So she's only there for a day and she leaves again. And but she did note that when he did bring her to his house for a minute, he snuck her in, and he said that they've got bugs everywhere. They got his whole house bugged, but he knows how to jam the signal, and that she thought it was hilarious that in him showing her his control panel for how he jams their signal, he's just punching in random numbers on his fucking garage door opener.
Sweet. But that's how fucking secret and special it is.
Exactly.
Man.
Only the CIA would be that covert to make that look like a garage door opener,
that's
right?
Right.
So...
What's up with your 90s cell phone, you son of a bitch?
So like I said, she was only there for a day. She comes back a week later to find his place. Like he tells her that it's okay for her to come, that they stopped listening now, and she can come just directly to hang out at his place or whatever. And when she walks in, she finds like needles everywhere and just weird little spatters of blood here and there, gauze and shit. He's got track marks.
Man.
And he said that
the government, the NSA did it. Whatever, man. Just.
Well, he said he was drawing his blood and so much of it for the boys, for the 12 boys, because they needed, he still has the special blood, so they still needed injections of it to keep them going. And
God, he didn't say they needed hot beef injections. That's terrible. Those are his sons.
Just like you like it. So
I like to eat my beef, thank you very much, not have it injected. It seems dangerous. You'd get sepsis that way.
Apparently.
Probably not. What is sepsis? It's like some kind of Jewish surprise party.
Yeah, I think... Never mind, I'm not doing it.
No, stop it now.
I'm not gonna...
Stop it now before it becomes something...
something possibly offensive. So, at some point during this time that she was there this time, he was drinking, and he was in one of his weirdo moods, I guess, and so he's sobbing. He's in his feelings about some shit that he never actually explains, but he's sobbing about doing bad and like how he's done bad things and he feels bad for it, and then he fucking like starts showing her shit around his house and pulls out this fucking samurai sword apparently that he had bought.
By the way, I'm also a real samurai. Boo-hoo-hoo-hoo.
Right, because he's half Japanese, of course.
Well, yeah, and all robot alien.
So, so yes, this samurai sword that he has that's totally authentic and it's oh man, it's totally sharp, dude.
No, you can't buy these from the gas station on the corner. Not anymore. Not after I did what I did with it.
Another time when they were chilling in bed, apparently. She was not, they were watching TV or whatever, and she was not wearing her glasses. So he assumed that she's fucking blind. So he's sitting there next to her on his phone, and she glances over, and just right out there in the open, he's talking to a couple other women, offering them the same 90% discount on these anti-aging or cancer treatments, whichever they needed.
I like to think he just had his calendar open, and on the next day it was like just casually written, "Kill this lady."
So
she won't see this, the dumb broad. She ain't even got her glasses on. What the fuck?
That's so ridiculous. So on June 15th, he calls Julie and says that he's really sick from his leukemia, and he's requesting that she comes down to help take care of him and Dimitri. And she's like, yeah, okay, sure. He says, the NSA's gone, so it's all good.
NASA requests your showing up to meet. Don't you know better?
Come fluff my balls and make me soup.
That's terrible. You don't have soup after the ball fluffage. You do it before. The ball fluffage is like that's the reward for soup well eaten.
I prefer both. I
don't like how long you're letting me do this to you.
Call me indulgent.
I do every day. That's your name in my telephone is that exactly.
Chris Trismegistus.
Too many letters. I just put asshole.
Nice. I'll take it. So, so she gets there, and she's talking to him, and he's playing super sick, and she's like, yeah, okay, whatever. So I'm gonna take Dimitri with me then. Right, because now at this point she has built up all of this shit in her head. She's like, something fucking diabolical is going down. I'm saving this baby. So she takes this as her opportunity to get Dimitri the fuck out of there.
Such a sweetheart.
Right, and so she, when she gets Dimitri back to, on their way out, right, still playing the role, she tells Dimitri, say goodbye to your daddy, and apparently he outright refuses. And
to say goodbye to the daddy?
To Diazin, and he just basically tells her, no, he outright refuses to say goodbye to the man. So she's
We're not
like,
going to take another step until you say goodbye to your father.
If there hadn't been other red flags about this kid, that's definitely one.
So he was like, yay, we're leaving daddy. Fuck that
Pretty
guy.
much.
So he's smart.
So she gets him back to Aztec, and she starts, noticing things about the kid, how he's fucking filthy. So she gives him a bath. She notices bruises on his temples.
Ouchies. That's where your brain's at.
Which he says are from Daddy's punches.
Those are the hinges to the brain place, where if you destroy those hinges, the box don't open up right no more.
It gets worse. So
he didn't put a crayon in his nose, did he?
No, okay. Thankfully not. But his undercarriage.
Oh no.
His boy parts are super, super dirty and rashy.
Rashy. Dirty and rashy.
His
weird combination for boy parts.
His butt swole. And I
don't care for it.
Diazin apparently had clued her into this being a possibility prior to this by saying that he fell on it. So his butt's swollen because he fell on it.
Oh
so
my god! I thought you were saying because Diazin tripped and fell on it.
Yeah. No. The boy fell on his own butthole somehow.
Okay.
According to Diazin.
That's much more believable, I think, that way than him being like, "Oops, I tripped on the paper and I'm inside my son and I don't know how that happened."
Yikes! So
how do you explain that to the guys?
Apparently, in the washing process, the boy, she gets down to his feet, and he starts complaining about his toes being sore.
Oh no, and he didn't slice him up.
His toes and finds track marks in between the boy's toes.
That motherfucker.
Which, when questioning Diazin about this, Douche Pickle says that he walks into the kid's room one day and finds him, quote, playing a new game where he's just pushing a push pin into his fucking flesh between his toes. It's fun.
Like that, yeah, that's totally not heroin stuffs or nothing or whatever. He's addicted to thumbtacks and his toesy woesies.
So
addicted,
right? She suspects that he's drugging him just to be able to leave him alone.
How old's the kid now, by the way? Give me an idea.
That's a good fucking question.
I don't think you've told me.
He
keeps fluctuating from infant to 12-year-old.
When he pops up with this kid,
it was a baby when he popped up with Girly.
Shit. Yeah, but I don't remember the year because this is only my notes from episode 2. I'd have to go back and I don't know.
Give me a stage in life.
I don't know. I assume he's like 6 or 7. No, because
like kid age.
Wait,
so
wasn't it 92 when him and Girly got together? So it must have been roughly 93 when he pops up with 95. The baby.
I don't know.
And it's only
99. Everybody party like it's. You've said 1999 quite a few times. Don't you be lying to me.
Yeah,
Sweet.
Well, he claimed all the boys were born August 8th of 1996. So, yes, it's 99 now. The kid can't be but like 4.
Man.
Because he's still saying daddy's punches and stuff like that. He can't explain shit. He's still like 3 or 4.
I would expect him to be able to explain less with all of the head trauma and heroin.
Fair enough.
I keep saying heroin, but it's probably fucking morphine, right? Like, he's probably just like, shut up, kid, have some morphine.
I don't
You know what that is? That's enabling.
I really don't know. Because like I said, we still don't know 100% if it's morphine that he's
separate those two.
So she calls DCS, Aztec DCS, and reports this, and they basically tell her, "Oh, it's fucked up, dude, but we can't do anything about it because he lives in Albuquerque, and all this shit happened in Albuquerque. So you gotta contact the Kirky and let them know what's happening." So
I told you, Albuquerque, fucking terrible.
So she does that, but she decides also to have a friend of hers who is a PI do a background check, and of course they find everything. And
man, Google searches, right? Like, world would have been faster with them. You Google that motherfucker, and no more scam. But she had to hire a PI.
So,
practical instigator.
That happens. And what is the end of the Julie scenario? Because here's the end of Julie.
I want to see a movie now called The Julie Scenario.
So here's how that whole shit goes down. Nothing with the cops, actually. Nothing. Nothing with...
No, you said no cops. That was the deal.
Nothing. In fact, what winds up happening is that Dyson comes and basically takes Dimitri back from Julie, but has her go with him to an adoption agency where they sit down and they speak to a woman named... Blah, 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 blah.
That's a fucking weird name.
Ivanda Cheshire.
Cheshire. It's not much more normal now.
I don't know exactly. I never saw it spelled. I'm guessing by the pronunciation.
Chester.
Ivanda Cheshire. And as she's sitting down with these two motherfuckers, she made a statement that she had never, ever in her career seen anything like this shit right here. So he was able to provide the birth certificate for Dimitri with his name on it, but saying that he and Gurley were the birth parents. However...
It's a long clandestine story. I just don't know if you want me to get into it.
When asked, though, for extra documentation, he wasn't able to provide anything about Gurley being pregnant or the first entire month of the baby's fucking life. So then he finally, okay, you got me. He's like, you got me. He tells...
Just wacky dude, Just a wacky dude.
He tells this lady that the real mother is an Asian lady, but that she only provided the egg. And that because he is such an amazing, world-renowned geneticist...
I thought you were going to say lover.
He fertilized said egg himself in his lab and grew his own son.
With one eye tied behind his back, he could do it.
That's right. With his dick in one of those fucking, one of those cages.
No, I don't like where this is going. So he
couldn't even get a hard on it. His awesomeness.
I don't like how know about the apparatus you just described is terrifying, and I don't know why. That's something that's just pickable from your brain.
Whatever.
You shut up.
You don't know me. You don't know my life.
I mean...
I would tell you if you asked, but you just don't care like that.
You shut me out with grossness.
He tells this woman that he is fucking awesome and that he grew his son all on his own.
I mean, that's evident.
But now he wants to sell him for
I need some drugs, of that sweet, sweet cash. Look at his toes. I could barely put heroin in him this morning.
So he's also like, hey, by the way, I got leukemia. And she's like, yo, but look here, we got to give you all the tests and stuff to make sure of what we're getting into and who's going to be,
don't believe in it. It's against my religion.
And it comes back that not an air one of them has leukemia or anything else for that matter.
I said, shut up and give me your blood, lady.
Which then he can use as his fuel for, see, magic blood. I'm cured already.
But that's But that ruins all of the other ones
so
and
bad.
stuff. I'd be like, I need to talk to the NSA, sir. I'm sorry. I just have a feeling that you're maybe painting a bad light on them because you are
So either way,
cured of cancer.
Somehow he gets. They take the baby. They take him. They accept him and they find him a home.
I am very happy that happened.
And on August 27th of 1999, Dyson takes a group picture with Dimitri and his new family, and that's the end of that.
G's it out to fucking Margaritaville.
That's the last we hear of Julie and everything.
Man, I really thought that they were going to stick around till the end.
So
I didn't actually think that.
Oh no, it gets better though.
Okay.
So a month later, Dyson decides he's gonna I'm pretty sure that the whole purpose behind this was to get more fuel for his new stories, because he pops up at a David Icke conference in New Mexico.
Man, I don't know who that is at all.
You don't know who David Icke is?
Not by name, obviously. I might know who he is situationally, or
Oh my goodness. Okay, well, for all the kids out there, if you want to shoot us an oh my goodness email care of Jason Fucknuts Rambo,
or if you want to shoot us some heroin,
snhnsnpod@gmail.com, and tell him who the fuck David Icke is.
Heroin is real serious, guys. Be careful with it. I'm not saying don't do it, but I'm saying be careful.
I'm really surprised. I really thought you were going to know who that is.
I don't know who David Icke is.
And do the just like I did.
No.
Okay, so
I gasped too much when I was young, so now I can't.
Well,
it takes a great deal of effort to gasp.
I know you must have heard the last podcast episode on David Icke. So either way, David Icke is
you can tell me.
Basically the main name in the lizard people theory and conspiracy.
Yeah, no, I don't follow that.
He perpetuates and oh man.
I don't follow it because I completely believe it's real.
Oh, he's a special son, bitch.
The lizard people part and the flat earth part, and how the lizard people always stick to the bottom of the flat earth when you look at it.
It doesn't...
I
right? Wish I had sticky toes.
Just like real lizards. That's geckos, not
honestly,
lizards, man.
Dude, it doesn't matter what...
Lizards use their mind.
What you watch on David Icke, it will be hilarious. So, he goes to a David Icke conference in New Mexico.
I'm thinking you're going to say concert. I'm like, this is going to get weird, but then it just gets kind of weird.
And there, he meets a one, Linda Henning.
Cool.
And now we're back.
I mean, I was going to put up a fight about it, but no, I'm good. I'm good. Go ahead.
Linda Henning.
Linda...
Born October 10th, 1953. Quite a successful woman on her own. She had a clothing line that was internationally carried, or whatever. She was an artist.
Mm-hmm.
And she had her shit going on. She had her shit straight. She was engaged to a dude named Steve Zachary, which upsets me for obvious reasons.
I don't trust him. It sounds like a guy that I'd want to punch in the face immediately. Hey, Steve Zach. You can't call him Steve Zachary. It's Steve Zach. You have to shorten it, because otherwise you'd be the douchebag instead of him.
I'd call him Stezik.
I'd just sneak up behind him and punch him in the temple and run.
Well, he gets his. So, she was 45, and Dyson was 34 when they met at this conference. And basically, he fucking dropped the whole spiel on her.
You mean his penis, right? That's terrible, Chris, that you would word it that way.
The whole spiel. And then some. And she was instantly fucking mesmerized.
The dude's
by
got the D. I've said it since
glory.
episode 1.
And
majesty is what it is.
Yeah, so 2 weeks later after their meeting,
her knees were shaky that long.
Dyson shows up to Linda's place, Linda and her fiance's place, with his homie, a Mr. Bill Miller, who we have not met yet, but we will talk about soon.
Biller. That's what I'm going to call him. Go ahead.
So Dyson and Bill Miller show up and forcibly remove Steve Zack from their house, and he basically implants himself as her new fiance within 2 weeks of meeting.
Breakdance battle, right?
Boom, 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 boom,
Hey, Steve Zack, get out here, asshole! My name's Tyson Coe, and I'm here to stay. I'm gonna rap all day. That's the best thing, guys.
My penis hit you hard.
You instantly went blue with it, and you should have gone.
You were the one talking about his dick, not me.
Royal blue is what you should have done. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that you should have said that with a bit of class.
I'm just perpetuating your joke, partially because dick jokes are funny, and partially also because I kind of have to pee.
I really have to pee, and have for a while. Most of my words have been splattered with urine.
Well,
Zach Morris pee break. All right, we're done with the first notebook, which means we ritualistically burn it. Welcome back to our show.
That's right.
Zach Morris is still urinating. We think he's got a disease.
He's having troubles, but we don't harp on him.
Probably that giant cell phone he uses. Can you imagine the size of the tumor in that dude's fucking brainal cavity lobe place? Man, you could you still cut a tomato with it. So shut the fuck up and go.
I am so confused as to where that was.
It really could have gone much longer, and it would have been good, it would have been distracting. So
let's not. So before the pee break, I had mentioned that
a little boy he is.
Within 2 weeks of meeting each other, Dyson has been, I guess, given the okay to show up at Linda's place and physically remove her fiance from her house. And
they just walked in and picked him up by the shoulders and walked him out and said, "You don't live here no more." Or did they beat him up and tell him not to come back? Or did they
I wish
kill
I
him?
had more specifics about that. I'm sure they didn't kill him, but
were there threats of violence?
I guarantee, yes. And when we get to Bill Miller, there's no possible way there wasn't
Miller
threats of violence. However, that's all it says about that.
That's a pretty badass thing. But when it comes to Bill Miller, we know that there were threats of violence. Imagine somebody saying that about you. Just have you interacted with this person? If it comes to fucking Chris Trismegistus, BarriosTheThird.com, it comes with threats of violence.
There will be threats of violence.
Just like that movie, There Will Be Blood.
I mean,
there were threats of violence in that, I'm sure. There had to be.
I'm usually only violent towards vaginas, but
that's such a strange statement.
Yeah, violent is a strong word. It's really not like that.
It's more like simple.
Very nice to them.
It's more like simple battery.
Sometimes they say, why'd you do this to me?
I don't know why they're talking to you.
I fucking asked for it.
What part of the story are we on?
They fucking... Anyway.
Spit in your face, old man.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't meaning that. I meant shut up. And why is it me doing that now?
So...
Yes.
Upon their engagement, or shortly thereafter, or who gives a fuck, it doesn't matter how long. At this point, it's really irrelevant. And prior to, Linda was a fan, but,
she had her questions.
Of, conspiracies and aliens and stuff like that. I believe, they downplay this, but she had to have been much more than just a fair weather fan of this shit to be showing up at a David Icke conference.
I mean, that sounds like something Linda would fucking do. Fucking Linda. Go ahead.
Look, all of it's not all for everyone, is all I'm saying. Just because you are
it's different strokes for different folks.
Oh, well, David Icke certainly comes with them different strokes, that's for sure.
What you talking about, Mr. Ike?
Dude, really?
That was a mighty fucking roar.
What that was.
Damn. That cat meant business. And business was ass kicking, and ass kicking was meow.
I love him, but he's a turd burglar. So
I think everybody's a turd burglar, whatever.
But upon
nobody wants your turds.
Upon mixing her white flavor with Dyson's,
that was fancy. I like how you did that. Go ahead.
International Delight, I suppose. She basically just falls completely fucking R-word for everything that comes out of this motherfucker's mouth.
Are we sure she didn't just trip over the dog?
She is stupid for this guy. So she starts taking him along with her, and as we find out later, the story tells you later, but I'm gonna just tell you now.
Yes.
Mr. Bill Miller starts coming with them as well at some point. Gross. Maybe not right in the beginning.
Gross, but we'll see how I feel after I'm actually introduced to Bill Miller.
He was there within the first 2 weeks because he was there to help remove the fiancée. So either way, right. Bill Miller is accompanying them as well sometimes to this. She starts taking him to the UFO conventions and meetings that she knows people at and whatever, and they immediately, now this is the funniest part, and it's irony. They all think he's full of shit and are on record saying that he's full of shit and talking about like the shit that he said to them.
I bet you when he heard all this stuff, like he peed himself a little bit in shame. He's like, but I'm great.
So people that consider themselves normal, smart, upstanding citizens fall for this man's bullshit, and the UFO
alleged
conspiracy
bullshit
kooks
alleged bullshit
immediately spot it.
He might be.
So he proceeds to tell them most of his normal bullshit, but of course, remember I said he's adding this new element now. And now these are his people, so he's got to adapt his stories and shit, man, to fit this new shit.
You poor little psychopath.
Right. So he goes on to and the way they the way they group this shit together sometimes is like it sounds like he's at least smart enough not to tell the same stories to everybody. But and I say smart enough because in no way is any of this smart, but he tells different stories to different groups, right? So some of them he tells the leukemia geneticist, fucking anti-aging serum,
his old jam,
right, including but not limited to test tube babies and such. And in another group, he morphs it into some alien shit by telling them that the shit about being a part of the CIA and knowing also he is, because this is why he's part of the CIA in this particular project, because he's also psychic, and he is not only psychically privy to this information, but he's also personally part of the project.
He's the kid that when you played superheroes, he had all the fucking powers because fuck you, I'm perfect and this is what I do.
Indeed. He's also the kid that would always invite himself to sleep over and wait for you to be talking about something with somebody else and be like, oh, I want to do that. That's cool. I already asked my mom 3 days ago. Yeah.
And he totally did pee with his pants and underwear pulled all the way down to his ankles, even when we were in our 10, 11-year-old stage. I'm like...
And literally anytime somebody said it would be awesome to see somebody ram their head into that, here he comes like a fucking torpedo. Yeah, that kid.
Man, I miss him.
I don't know if girls have that kid around them. I assume in some capacity
I assume
they do.
The girl equivalent is like the glue sniffer.
But,
just like all the glue.
Oh, that kid is not...
Connoisseur.
Sometimes he's good to have on your team. Sometimes he turns out to be fucking all kinds of weird shit. But girls do have them?
Yes.
Word.
What do they do? Are they mean?
No. My friend Tiffany, one time we were in the mall and she just walked up to a lady and screamed in her face, and the woman smacked her in the face with a fucking shopping bag. So
awesome.
And she would call Chinese restaurants and just scream the word "dak" really loud. She was psychotic.
Man.
By the way, boys,
you say she's single?
No, but
she's still crazy.
The actual human lady voice that you're hearing that you never usually hear is...
It's Jason's new character. Yeah.
Indeed.
I've been working on it real hard.
He's really good at talking like himself and that lady character at the same time.
And I do a real good Chris, but not in front of him. It's really racist.
Hola. Anyway, that's my boo-boo. That's Regina, and hers painting in the background, doing artsy shit, being all fucking pretty and snickering at the fact that we're dumbasses, right along with the rest of you boys and girls. So, getting back to it.
Knows people that would just walk up to a lady and scream in their face, don't even know the lady, and then just it's just like.
And that woman knocked that shit out of him with a full
good. I hope one of them was doing a scientific study on that exact situation, and somebody got useful data out of it.
She talked about it today on Facebook.
Oh, so weird. Snap!
Awesome. I wonder if that's a thing about the G who shall not be named that listens to us all the time, that sent her or like dug up into her shit because they're like, oh, we know who that bitch is. We got their friends on Facebook. We're gonna go dig through her pictures and shit and like send that
goddamn
something to her that would trigger that memory.
AI fucking
as a memory
suggestion.
It was one of those things where she's like, it's one of those memes where it's like, post a memory of you and I together, and she said something else that was really hilarious and terrible that I can't mention. But,
yeah.
And Tony mentioned the one about her screaming in somebody's face, and I mentioned the Chinese restaurant.
When I get those challenges, I'm like, but all of my friends that I would post a memory of, like, we have very strict court papers that says that I can't talk about it.
Right.
So
their service doesn't work underground. Mm-hmm. So like I was saying, some groups he would tell the story about being a part of the CIA and knowing that a psychic part of the CIA. And knowing of a plot, now, like I said, some of these people, he would tell that it's the aliens that are going to come down and poison the drinking water and wipe out most of the population. And to some, he would say that it's the CIA that's going to do it.
I thought you were going to say the Puerto Ricans. Okay,
but the aliens are still involved some kind of way.
Yes.
And now here's the funniest one to others. He would say that he himself is a 10,000-year-old alien.
I mean, it all tracks.
Who is also a doctor of genetics.
It makes sense.
And that there will be an attack.
And also actual valuable information. And yes, I agree with this 10,000-year-old
right. So
man.
He's telling the story from many different positions that he takes.
Is one of them missionary?
I would think at least two of them, yes. So
2 of them. Now we're talking party or boring.
So with all of his boasting,
boring party.
The UFO folks want to see paperworks and stuff like, hey man, what's up? Who the fuck are you for real? And every time he would show up, it would be that, oh, I forgot my fucking ID and my other fucking biker shorts.
But I remembered my banjo, so I could do.
This is actually an alien tune from my planet 13 light years away.
It's called Fuck You.
It's actually called
Give Me Your Blood.
Dueling Buttholes. And we use it.
Dueling Buttholes, Christopher.
Shut up your face.
You know what? I wish you were Christopher Robin from the Winnie the Pooh things, because then at least while you were playing with Pooh, it'd be wholesome.
So, yeah, whole shut up.
Dueling but wholesome.
I like honey, but that's really sticky.
Yeah. I've been dead for 15 years. I keep telling you this.
So, upon all of this and the ID forgettings and all of this and that and that and this, one of those people, a friend of Linda's, decides yet again that they're going to spend their own money to hire a PI to look into this fucking piece of shit.
Just spend your money on a PIE and just be like, yeah, he's guilty. I know it. He did it because look at him. And that way you get pie at the same time.
And of course, this PI does his job and finds everything, which he presents to that friend, and then they subsequently present to Linda, and she calls bullshit.
I don't know why I see so much ceremony and pomp in presenting the information to Linda. Like, I see like old, medieval messenger boys with their poofy collars and shoulder pads and stuff, and they're like on one knee, and there's 2 of them, and they're both holding this like gilded, wrapped, like platter of paper to her.
I dig it. We need that on a t-shirt.
I need presenting data to people that like that very much now, and I need data now. So,
but that would be like, I think we should do it as like a light side and a dark side sort of thing. So like that would be the light side t-shirt, and on the dark side it would be like a picture of me with, you know, my usual horns, and I'm like stuffing computer paper into somebody's fucking mouth.
Oh, I went dark a whole different way.
I was
thinking shaved squirrel jacking it in the back of a fucking Jack in the Box that's been closed down for years. That's dark.
How exactly is that the opposite of, or the same but a darker version of what we...
You never said version. You said dark side.
You're stinking...
And I'm like, that squirrel has got
ridiculous
fucking
face. We're
issues.
already at 53 minutes.
We're good at this, is what it is. That never works for you. I don't know why you even try it.
So, what I forgot to mention, in the ending, the very tail ending of the adoption process for Dimitri, is that the adoption agent lady, Avanda, she said that shit was fucking weird, and she called the police. Oh, not the police. She called the FBI.
Wow.
And she said, say, bruh, shit
Is
ain't
the
right.
FBI that easy to get in touch with?
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, no, they are. So yeah, she's like, this shit ain't right. I think y'all need to go figure something out. So they, I guess, called the local cops and made them go do a welfare check. Right? Cops get there. They question him. They make him remove guns from his house. Apparently he's got a few guns. So he goes and gives them to the neighbor.
Sounds very
Pedro,
official.
actually.
Wow. Pedro trusts him.
Pedro's still kicking it with him. I don't know why. But
That's, I mean, you can't pick your neighbors.
right, so Pedro takes his guns for him. The cops ask him, where's his wife? And I guess without skipping a beat, he says, oh, she's dead.
I killed her with my samurai swords for her blood.
So that's the end of that.
You can have the guns, you idiots.
That's the end of that. So here we are now, having gone through Dysen's antics in between.
Antics is what they would be called, I think. Yeah, that's a fair word.
This was everything that happened that girly, that had nothing to do with girly and all that kind of shit. The shit that happened in between them splitting apart and those last like year or so of them together and that sort of thing. That was all the shit that she didn't know anything about that he was still doing.
Fool days.
So now we catch back up to the day of her disappearance, September 9th of 1999. Oh, no, sorry. This is the night before it. I apologize. Oh. She disappears on the 10th. On the 9th, she finishes work. She, on her way home, she stops to mail a letter to her parents, and she continues home. At 7:03 p.m., she calls the phone company because she hasn't received her bill, and, you know, she's very meticulous, and, you know, she stays on top of that shit, so she calls them to figure out what the fuck's going on with her bill. Within a few minutes after that, you remember good old Ernie?
I do.
And Ernie and Girlie talk every single night. Ernie calls her. No answer. No return call. And Ernie calls her a few more times between that 7:00 whatever and 10 p.m.
Okay.
When she finally says fuck it and goes to bed. No answer, obviously, the whole time.
No, Bert, she still won't answer.
Cuts to
go to sleep.
The next morning, Ernie
I have
tries
a headache,
to call
Bert.
her.
Please stop.
My head hurts. I'm gonna wash my hair. So yeah, Ernie tries to call her one more time in the morning before work. Still no answer. Then cuts to work and her coworkers and stuff. at 8:15, they call the cops. They are fucking worried, right?
Mm-hmm.
They call the cops. The cops give them the runaround for a while until after the fourth time, like I said, the manager finally calls and tells him the whole story about why we're this concerned.
Right.
And they're finally like, okay, we're going to go do a welfare check.
Mm-hmm. This bitch doesn't even get on welfare.
So, at the same time that they're trying to do that, you remember I mentioned the one kid that helped her move? The
Yes.
only person that knew where she lived.
I do.
He decides to take it upon himself to leave work and go to her apartment to check on it himself instead of waiting for the cops.
Good.
Because
Good,
they
good,
had
good.
still not even convinced the cops to go do anything yet. So he goes over there and he notices that her car is still in the parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
And that the door is locked, but looking in, when he looks into the windows of the car, nothing looks out of the ordinary. And he can't see into the apartment, so in knocking a few times, getting no answer, calling, getting no answer, he finally decides to go and get the building manager to try to let him in, and he agrees. So he and the building manager walk into the place, and according to them, they saw really nothing out of the ordinary. There was really not a whole. There wasn't really any unusual signs of struggle or anything crazy. A few things disheveled, but nothing that looked like anything happened.
I mean, Keanu Reeves was there.
There
we're
was
talking disheveled.
It had orange carpet in this apartment, and but apparently there was a big stain.
Shaggin' wagon.
That looked like it had been previously cleaned, and a few speckles that were apart from said stain that were also in the carpet that had looked like they were cleaned.
I got it.
That they didn't really see anything that stood out to them as ominous, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
So they exit the apartment, and the police officer shows up, and he tells them what's going on, and that the two of them talk to him, and they're like, well, we just went in there and looks fine to us. So, like they're never supposed to do, the cop's like, all right, well, I'll go talk to him.
Yeah. So,
I trust you.
Yeah, the cop's like,
Word, all right. Cool, building manager and random fucking dude that works at a furniture store.
I'm certainly going to go tell the guy that we're afraid may have done something ominous exactly where this place is by going to ask him questions about it.
Right. So they go to Dyson's house. The police officer from there leaves and goes to Dyson's house. There he runs into the sergeant, who is going to question Dyson as well, but about something totally different. So they go in. Are
you going to be able to make our fucking magic match this weekend or what?
So they one thing that aside from the stain on the carpet that the dude Jesse did notice that was weird when they walked into Girlie's house was that the deadbolt wasn't locked. And she lives in fear. She always locks the deadbolt.
It does seem...
So, but still, that's not a sign of a struggle per se.
Right.
Anyway, moving back to Dyson's house, they're knocking. They can't get a hold of him. They walk in and see that it is 100% empty. His house is fucking empty. Dude's gone.
Nice.
So they start questioning neighbors. They go to Pedro. They're like, "What's up, Pedro?" Well, what do you know?
You being so familiar with me.
What do you know?
I'm an old man named Pedro.
What up with them guns and shit?
I don't know you.
Pedro's like, so he shows up about a week ago and
says he would shoot me with his gun if I didn't give him his gun back.
Gotta give it to him first so that he could, And
I believed him, just like always.
Pedro gives him his guns back. He says that he is moving to El Paso, so because then that puts him closer and it makes it easier for him to then move to Mexico, where he can receive his cancer treatments.
See, the thing is that the cops don't mind if I take the guns to a different city, so you can give them back now.
When in actuality, apparently, he really went to South Carolina to be with one of his 3 other fiancées at the time.
This dude.
Which we don't have to get into any of them except for one.
Damn it.
This particular fiancée, it's a short run with a Miss Sherry Clinton, who flew from South Carolina the day after Gurley was missing, so on the 10th, of the 11th. She flew from South Carolina to Albuquerque to drive the moving truck. So he had Pedro said a week ago he had a moving truck show up and they loaded all his shit, so moved him to El Paso. But so she showed up and drove the moving truck with him all the way back to South Carolina, where he moved in with her and they were fiancés. And that was her first time meeting him in person.
Man, the internet. Strange bedfellows.
So in her reports, she tells the police that she couldn't help but noticing that he was kind of weird. So he was injecting himself yet again, telling her that it's morphine for his fucking leukemia, and that if he didn't have it, he'd be all shaky and in pain and stuff. He was now eating some kind of white powder, like putting it underneath his tongue, and said that was for something to do with his fucking cancer treatments or some shit.
If you tell me that this is how Oops All Berries happened...
and on occasion, he was also vomiting blood.
Man, none of those things is good for nobody. I'm weary about what's happening.
Talk amongst yourselves.
Anyway.
Sorry about that.
Man.
So
the panic on my face.
I left him alone with his thoughts.
Terrifying it was.
I'm a terrible person. That's what we do.
Terrifying how quickly I came to terms with all of my terrifying thoughts.
So yeah, he's doing drugs. He's puking blood. He's doing,
We're talking about Heisen right now, right?
His Heisen thing.
We're not still me. Okay.
No, this is on his way back to South Carolina.
So I haven't thrown up blood in minutes, and I would thank you to not show the pictures that you took of it.
And
just give me your blood. That's what I'm trying to say.
You cannot have my blood; it is sacred. And so.
Just because you lie about a thing, don't make it true.
Upon hearing all of this funny stuff going on with this guy, they decide to go back. Now, the sergeant and the first cop that went to Gurley's in the first place decide to go back to Gurley's and go in and do a check
and
themselves.
Be
cops,
right. Cool.
And of course, immediately they start noticing evidence, such as the overwhelming smell of bleach, as well as the big stain in the carpet.
Maybe they bleached buttholes there.
All of that fun stuff.
Like under the table,
So they cut up and tear up.
They surprise people with it under the table. Bleach your butthole. Without you realizing it was about to happen.
Aren't there like clubs for that?
There sounds like there should be, and I think that might be something we should look into. Go ahead.
You go ahead and let me know what you find.
I'm done. I've been dead for 15 years, I keep telling you.
So they go ahead and cut up the carpet and call forensics and get all this shit sent out to the labs, including some articles of clothing that were around and this and that. So about 150 miles away, in Magdalena, there was a state highway dude who
like a
runs
cop?
around. No, not a cop. Like just one of the dudes who works for the state or whatever on the highway, picking up whatever
trash and whatnot. Yeah,
yeah, but not a trash dude per se. Like he does all kinds of shit like that. But anyway, so he is around one of the rest areas of the interstate, and he notices a tarp on the shoulder of the highway, which he doesn't think as odd, because it's now hunting season, deer hunting and elk hunting and stuff like that, and a lot of hunters will use the tarps to wrap the bodies in and whatever. So he gets closer. He as he's walking up to the tarp to pick it up because it could be a road hazard. He notices spots of blood on it, which he's like, whatever, it could be deer blood. And then upon moving it around a little bit, he sees that there is duct tape and pieces of hair, and
no, it could be somebody just duct taped their kill. This is fine.
And more blood and stuff.
It's fine. No, it's good that maybe this is a deer that was covered in fine black Asian hair.
So yeah, he he collects it carefully and around continues to search around the vicinity or whatever, and then he stumbles upon a top, a shirt, girl's top, shorts, and undies, all of which have blood on them and hair. And so he calls the cops. He gives it all to the cops. Man. So they're obviously looking for Dyson pretty hard, and so they follow in trails and this and that. They stumble upon in Gurley's apartment. They find adoption papers, which no, sorry, not in Gurley's apartment. That just along the trail of who the fuck is this guy, yada yada. So they find adoption papers, and Linda Henning's name is on them as an emergency contact for some fucking weird, stupid reason.
I mean, it seems legal, right?
They go and contact Linda, find Linda and contact her, and she says, "Oh yeah, no, I'll help you any way you need to." Basically tells them nothing, and then disappears. Goes into hiding or whatever.
She was a ghost all along.
So they go back and they're talking to Dyson's neighbors a little more, and then one of them now says, well, on the 9th, so this would be the night before Gurley's disappearance, on the 9th, she and her husband or friend or whatever were sitting out on their porch, and they saw a car speed and into the neighborhood and scream up and fucking screech up onto his lawn or in his driveway, parked all crooked and shit. And he jumps out wearing all black with black paint on his face, like he was fully blacked out. Runs into the house. About 5 minutes later, runs back out, still dressed in black. Jumps back into the car and speeds off. Right.
Peculiar.
Peculiar.
Not worrying, but peculiar.
So that's a thing. Now the cops are like, okay, that's fun. So 3 days later, on the 13th, the cops receive 3 separate calls from 3 separate women, all claiming to be receiving harassing phone calls from Dyson.
Give me your blood, I want your blood. Give me your blood, I want your blood.
One of which is a lady who we don't have to go into.
Great.
It's the neighbor who said that she saw him in all black.
Okay.
I don't know how the fuck he found out. Either way, he's harassing her. One of which is fucking ridiculous is his divorce lawyer from Gurley. So he goes and sees her when he and Gurley are going to be divorced. Her name is Felisa Garcia. He goes and sees her on February 5th of 1999.
That's my birthday.
It is.
It was my birthday that day, too.
And that day, that year, and every year since.
I was just a little babe, you know?
You were still a turd burglar.
Just the whole world ahead of me. But future Jason was like, fuck you, kid. I got plans and you're not going to like them.
So he hires her to be his divorce attorney. Comes several months later, April 27th, he winds up naming her, his divorce attorney, as the second beneficiary on his will.
I mean,
second to Dimitri.
I mean, that makes sense, kind of. You know? You want some stranger to have your fucking stuff. If whatever, right, guys?
At the same time, Felisa, once after the divorce hearings and all that, she procured her own attorney because she was planning to adopt Dimitri herself.
This drug addicted baby is got to be one charming motherfucker.
At the same time, somehow this man's stories have not only touched this woman as his divorce attorney, but also her mother, who sent a check as a down payment. Apparently it was $1,000 check. I thought they said $100,000 at first. But $1,000 check to him as a down payment for the purchase of his house. She was going to buy his house. Her daughter was going to fucking adopt his child.
I think he just turns on the gas on these people's ovens and before he starts talking to them, and then gets out just in enough time to not have the severe permanent brain damage that these people have developed.
It is fucking insanity. So she calls the cops and tells them that he called her and yelled at her for a good 20 minutes, going on and on about how he is convinced that she is a part of this fucking plot that has dissected his son, and that if that is not true, that he is demanding from her proof of his well-being. You know what? Everyone is going to die.
You know what, cops? I call you to tell you all this, not because he called me initially, not because he called to yell at me, not because of the length of time that he yelled at me or the subject matter. Why I call you about this is I didn't like that motherfucker's tone. You don't take that tone with me, I'm fucking crazy too.
And miraculously, he didn't have a German or Japanese accent anymore.
Sounds a whole lot like a lot of the people that make the burritos down at Taco Bell. The best burrito eatery that's ever been eaten at.
Maybe you should look into this guy.
With little donkeys named as food.
I'm pretty sure I don't like him anymore.
I don't like anyone.
So the cops are like, holy shit, this is 2 women so far now that he's sending death threats to. Enter number 3. Ivanda Shesha.
Her again.
Yes, the adoption agent is now receiving phone calls from Dyson as well, because she turned him into the FBI and all that.
Which he didn't. He wasn't cool with that.
He was unappreciative of that.
What a prick.
Set of circumstances.
Take the time to really fucking give the guy some attention, and then he's gonna be like, I'm mad at you for it. Whatever, dude.
So, because he can't control himself and he just absolutely has to harass these women.
It's like a compulsion.
From his own home phone number.
Man, he's good.
He's good. These fucking cops who are, I guess, good at their jobs, tracked the phone calls back to the house in South Carolina, where they proceed to show up. Not obviously not these particular cops, but the police over there.
Go ahead.
Proceed to show up and arrest him for harassment. 3 counts of harassment across state lines.
2 counts of just being dumb, dude. Really?
So, upon search.
Those charges might not stick.
Upon the initial search, I should say, of the house in South Carolina, this poor woman right, that's really all we had to say about her. She doesn't play any other part. She just is now having her house ransacked twice. So this is the initial search of this house, where they find a gun, 2 vials of blood, a bunch of needles, a bunch of different drugs, which they don't specify. A steam cleaner.
Yeah.
2 sticks of charcoal.
Right. Yeah.
And lo and behold, they also find Girlie's address book and her ID.
She wasn't using them no more. We killed her fucking last week.
So technically, this is all still circumstantial shit. Because he was married to her and blah, blah, blah. They don't know that she's dead yet, but whatever. So this is all still circumstantial. But they were able to arrest him on the harassment with the phone calls and shit. So while they're holding him, they can put some shit together and, take it to whoever they got to take it. So they wind up convening a grand jury about this shit and putting him on trial. But like we were talking about, like I mentioned earlier, I didn't know that they were illegally allowed to do this because it seems fucked up to me. But apparently during the fucking trial to indict him, they still only have circumstantial evidence, so they're still doing their investigations and all that.
What is the indictment on? Because they could be charging him for the other shit while investigating.
They are.
They can do that.
That's exactly what they're doing.
Crimes.
Right. That's exactly what they're
2
doing.
different crimes. He's not being charged for her disappearing shit.
Right. Okay. So that makes more sense. Now I understand it. So. Right. So they're indicting him for the harassment and all that shit. I don't know why they needed a grand jury for that, but
you're a grand old jury.
Possibly because it was across state lines. It has multiple states involved.
And you crossed all these lines that we know. You're a stupid song about a dumb thing, and I'm gonna stop singing it. Hey, hey.
So the trial convenes in Kirky on September 27th of 1999. And the star witness is none other than
Prince.
That would have been hilarious.
Linda
Henning. Linda Henning, who is, what do you fucking know, zero help.
I'm a star.
She literally denies knowing anything or anyone other than Dyson, and she even goes on to say, when they prove evidence of the fact that she has been into Girlie Chew's bank, the branch that she works at, and actually dealt directly with her, she still claims she doesn't remember anything like that. She's never seen or heard that name, knows fucking nothing. So, whatevs. So now they gotta find Mo.
What does Mo have to do with it? He has his own troubles.
He was there. He was there. He knows Mo. Then he's letting on.
He would be.
So, here's where we catch up with and finally do meet Mill Biller.
This motherfucker here better be only 4 seconds of a fucking
Mill Biller,
story
Bill Miller?
with Bill Miller.
Oh no, he's quite a bit more than 4 seconds. Mr. Miller's quite a fucking bowl of shit.
Should we come back to Bill Miller's story part?
If you want to stop it right there, I think that's probably a good point before we actually wait. Before we actually get into the real shits about the trials. I mean, because we're there, but we're not. So one sec. Fuck your face.
This is not appropriate.
Oh, that's the wrong page. My bad. That's not the right hold music. Yeah, no, that's fine. That's a good place. That's a good place.
Because you've just listened to another Good Place episode of See No, Hear No, Speak No.
Well, I think I've proven that this one is chock full of the UFOs, conspiracies, and murders, goddammit.
Or is it?
Or is it? I mean, we've had everything from nasal implants to genetically engineered psychic power babies and fucking 10,000-year-old aliens with plots for poisoning the drinking supply.
And there was that one time when he thought he was about to fall down the stairs, but he ended up doing a perfect fucking standing backflip and just landing perfectly on the ground, and nobody was there to see it, but it was totally fucking rad.
Oh, we haven't even mentioned yet, but I will just throw it out there that it's if you want even more chock full, it's gonna come to light that the people who are
He's actually looking around the room instead of just speaking into the microphone.
They might be listening.
Oh.
They might be watching us.
Well, we're making it very easy.
The people who are going to set off this plot
Good, tell the aliens to come get us. I'm fucking tired of it here.
Are lizards. Shape-shifting lizards.
I thought you were going to say lesbians.
Serbians.
The Serbians?
Yes.
Like the bad guys from Back to the Future?
Hairy armpits and all.
Or like the real life bad guys?
Dude.
I'm just kidding, Serbia. We love you.
They all smell funny.
I love lizards.
I mean, I don't dislike lizards, but when they're...
I don't like lizards that are liars, though.
Look, when they have plot, and all of them are, when they have plots for world domination, I have to say that they know, my brother. Because...
I mean, they have a few good points.
Does it matter?
Those
that
are more sunlight and higher taxes on the rich.
Bitch, you better keep that rock warm.
I need puddles consistently spaced because I get thirsty.
More mealworms.
Segregate the schools again. I don't even know why. I love black people. This is the lizard talking, of course.
Burn the books. They do not tell my people's story anyway.
And the bras, titties are great.
Well, of course. That was so if you would like to say hi to Regina and ask why she puts herself through actually putting up with me on a more regular basis than you guys have to, you can send your message entitled WTF yo to snhnsnpod@gmail.com.
Do I tell them the truth?
Well, sure. You tell them all the truth.
Breaking report.
Just no pictures unless I approve them.
You can't listen to pictures, you idiot. No, that's not a picture. That's you being gross in real life. Stop it. I'm going to hang up now.
Countdown.
Microphone.
Countdown 3,
2,
2 and 1.
Adios.
We'll see you again, probably.
And
hey,
buenos nachos.
listen to that. My phone's like, oh, countdown's done. Here's a notification.
Take it slowly, you're still young. That's your fault. There's so much you have to go through. Find a girl and settle down. If you want, you could marry. Look at me. I am old, but I'm happy. All the times that I've tried, keeping all the things I knew inside. It's hard, but it's harder to ignore it. If they were right, I'd agree. But it's them they know, not me. There's a way, and I know that I have to go away. And I know